So, speaking of therapy plans, there have been a lot of there's a lot of emerging research on the gut-brain axis and probiotics. So, what is your opinion on that?
So that is very important question. There is a huge talk about probiotics and autism.
Yeah.
So we all know gut and brain are intricately linked.
Yes.
That's why we don't call it brain feeling.
Yeah.
We call it gut
Gut
feeling.
feeling.
So that means something related to gut and
Yes.
brain. So our gut has, you will be surprised to know, more bacteria than our human cells. Trillions of bacteria. So these bacteria, there are two broad categories. Good bacteria, which does good to your brain health. Bad bacteria, obviously, does bad to your brain health. So the basic hypothesis here is, in patients or children or human individuals where there is a imbalance in terms of good and bad bacteria, then it indirectly affects your brain development and the networks and leads to several problems. It ranges from autism, ADHD, psychiatric disturbances, or even later conditions like dementia, and even Parkinsonism also described with gut brain
That
axis.
goes to the neurotransmitter.
Neurotransmitter also. So there are two broad classes of agents which are now coming up. One category is called prebiotic, other category is called probiotic. Sorry for a long answer, I need to describe it here.
Please do.
Prebiotic is a type of a fiber which a good bacteria consumes and in order to sustain its growth. So if you give prebiotic, good bacteria will grow. It's like a fertilizer for a good bacteria. Probiotics are basically you are making or collecting those bacteria in a controlled environment. You are actually giving the good bacteria to the gut. You are actually taking the good bacteria either as a sachet form or a powder form. So which should restore that imbalance to a normalcy, or in other words tilt the balance towards more good bacteria and indirectly influence your gut brain practice and changes the core symptoms of autism, improve the behavior, cognition, other elements of autism. So, but I would still say more research is required in this field to give a conclusive answer. But I think people do try, specifically those who have, I often prescribe whenever there is a specific dysfunction related to gut, like the child is having an irritable bowel syndrome, or some degree of bowel dysfunction like constipation, or selective food faddism, or very sensitive to food, or even malnutrition. We do try that in certain situations. Some parents do report improvement. The other thing is about diet. So there is something called casein-free, gluten-free diet. Although it has not been conclusively proven, some parents do report improvements with that. When the parent comes and say, my child is better with that type of diet, we usually are non-judgmental and we do not say, okay,